Dr. Finland taught us to apply our best science to improving the health of those in greatest need, something that we still need to do far better. 3 messages come to mind. First, measure it to change it. Bill Gates, among others, has said this. I would add that measuring helps us do 2 things. First, to understand what's happening, and second, to create the political will to improve. My personal experience of developing a simple CHO cell assay for cholera and E. coli toxins enabled us to see for the first time the magnitude of toxigenic E. coli diarrhea. Not to mention also enabling Stanley Falco to track the coding of that toxin on transmissible plasmid DNA. And only when we measured the diarrhea rates in young children in a favela in northeast Brazil, and then later also measured their cognitive function, did we realize that it was an Alzheimer's-like deficit that these impoverished children experienced, probably for a lifetime. And then, by measuring the frequency of the so-called Alzheimer's gene, ApoE4, that we realized that this terrible gene may be in our gene pool because it actually protected against these cognitive ravages in that window of human time when our connections and synapses are forming in our first 2 years of life. So genetically and evolutionarily, we're in it together. Which brings me to my second message, a declaration of interdependence. I'd like to think that our founding father at the University of Virginia would agree that we now need to declare our interdependence. Our very survival depends on learning that how you do is what will determine how I do. Like it or not, we're in it together. Microbiologically, this is increasingly obvious with the spread of pathogens and drug resistance. But more than just enlightened self-interest, this gets at who we are. Self must be seen as all of humanity. How the least fortunate fare is what will determine our destiny and our children's future. My third message derives from students who often ask, well, what can I do? My answer is threefold. Have a dream, do the doable, and persevere. This answer arises from one of my most despondent moments ever, the night of March 19th, 2003, when it had become clear that the U.S. was about to start bombing Iraq the next day. Paul Farmer had just visited us in Charlottesville with his poignant messages, and a couple of personal tragedies had also struck in our group. And it was on that night that I wrote to our group that at difficult times like these, it is more important than ever to remember that great American who taught us to never forget to have a dream. Then start somewhere, doing the doable, hopefully something that excites us because that's what we'll do best, and persevere. I wanted to add, and hope that you live long enough, but that's not what's important. As Margaret Mead reminded us, a cadre of thoughtful, committed citizens is what changes the world. Dr. Finland's life teaches us that. And what an honor to receive this award in his name. Thank you so much.